Hey everybody, my name is Chris Lewellen, and I am the Tippah County Development Foundation Director. I'm a lifelong resident of Tippah County, and I'm happy to call Tippah County my home. We at the Development Foundation know that we must ensure that Tippah County offers a wide variety of ways for our citizens to make a good living and have a great quality of life here. We know that we must move Tippah County forward into a future that causes our high school graduates to want to make Tippah County their home and to know that they can have a good life here. We believe that the only way for Tippah County to move forward is for us to move forward together. It will take all of us to ensure that our children and our children's children have a great place to call home in Tippah County. In this series of interviews, released weekly this fall of 2024, you'll hear from some incredible people living in Tippah County. Some of these folks never left home, some left for a while and came back, and some moved here as adults. We wanted to let you hear their reasons for choosing Tippah County as their home and their hopes for the future of Tippah County. The interviewer is Mr. Austin Hamilton, a lifetime citizen of Tippah County. Austin currently serves as the career coach for Ripley High School and served last year as the Walnut High School career coach. We thought he would be the perfect person to talk to our group about their hopes and dreams for their hometown. If you enjoyed this interview, please check back weekly to listen to each new interview and share them with a friend. Let's move forward together and make Tippah County the best that it can be.
Today we have Leslie McDonald,
Yes.
the mother of many of us in Ripley, Mississippi,
Yes.
particularly when it comes to sports. So I've known you for a long time, known your family for a long time, went to school with them, but tell us a little bit about what you do now as a career.
Okay. As a career, I graduated from Northeast,
Okay.
the vocational program, the LPN program.
Okay.
It was a year program. I graduated there in 97.
Mm-hmm.
I currently work as the workforce manager at Diversicare.
Okay.
I'm also a health and wellness coach.
Yeah, I do that.
Yes, I'm a physical fitness trainer.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Yeah.
also life coach certified.
Okay.
I have many certifications. I'm herbalist. I'm herbally
Okay,
certified.
okay.
Yes. So I just have a lot of certifications.
Yeah, I knew
it
you
works for me.
Yeah, I follow you on Facebook, and I knew you did a lot. And actually, I talked to Nicole Bullock, who was on the Aspire committee and also a real estate agent,
Yes.
and she told me, I talked to her yesterday. We had some kids job shadow with her, and she said, "You're interviewing Leslie tomorrow." And I said, "Yeah." She said, "They may never get that. They may never quit. Y'all may never quit. Y'all may
That's
keep
a
going."
great
Anyway, but I said,
compliment.
"No,
Thank
she'll
you
be a
so
good one."
much.
But with that being said, three of the categories that we've tried to narrow it down to is those who lived here, stayed here, those who lived here, moved away for whatever reason, then moved back here, and then those who wasn't from here at all and moved here.
Yes.
So did you actually move to Northeast when you went, or did you commute?
I lived at Northeast.
You did live. Okay, so you
Yes.
went away for college, but then you came.
I came back.
So you came right back. So if I'm not mistaken, I think you told me you grew up in Westwood.
I grew up in White Oak.
White Oak, not Westwood. White Oak.
don't
That's
get it
right.
confused.
I'm about to say
White Oak,
that could be
baby.
it. That's what I say. I be saying I'm from Full
Yes,
West all the time,
White
so
Oak, baby,
I'm a big
all day.
I'm a big
Yes,
Full West guy.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
My family still lives in the White Oak community.
Still lives in the White Oak
Yes,
community?
Yes,
Okay.
my grandmother's house is still out there.
Okay.
Yes, I still have family.
Okay, yeah. So with that being said, we've talked about this many a times before, and this is why I knew you would be so good, because you're very passionate about Tippah County.
I am.
You love Tippah County. Your family's
I
here.
do.
You grew up here. So with that being said, what are some? Because it really bothers me when I talk to some people and they're like, "Oh, I can't wait to move out of this small town." I'm like, well, this small town may be ready for you to move too. You know what I mean? So
True.
with that being said, I mean, I heard Nicole Bullock say this, and I'm sure she didn't come up with this. She said, the water grows the best where you water it. Or I'm sorry, the grass grows the best when you water it. But with that being said, what are some just things about Tippah County that you would love to highlight to young people, anybody, why maybe cost of living, maybe just the overall feel and culture of Tippah County? What are some things that you would highlight to someone if they were like, hey, I'm looking to move, I'd like to move to a more rural town and that's close to a lot of urban areas in the southeast? What would be your selling point for Tippah County?
I like the strong religious roots that are here.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I love that. That means the world to me.
Yeah.
I also like where we're located. I love the fact that I can go to Memphis. I can go to Birmingham.
I say this
I can
all
go
the
to
time.
Huntsville. I can go to Tupelo.
Oh, I
I
know.
can be entertained, but I can come home to my safe home.
Exactly.
I love being able to run Ripley. I
Oh.
love being able to train. I like getting on my bike on a Saturday morning ride the length of Ripley and back and feel safe about it. I love the outdoors, and I can do that here.
Exactly. You know, it never fails. It's funny you say that about the running piece because at least once a week someone's coming up to me and saying, "Hey, I almost hit you the other day."
Right.
You know, and I told them the other day, I said, you know, that only about 2 times in 10 years of me running have I felt like, okay, this could be a close call.
Yeah.
So you're not as close to me as you
not
think
as
you
you
are.
think
For
you
all
are.
the people out in Tippah County, you're not as close to me as you think you are. If you just keep your dogs up, I don't care how close you get to me in the
That's
car.
all I care
It's the
about.
dog piece that gets
Yes.
me. So with that being said, I can't. You know, I kind of want to dig a little deeper on that. I know
Okay.
we've said it before. How often would you say in a year? I know that's a lot to think through, but how often do you go to Memphis or Huntsville or travel out? And you know, as a family or just for business or for whatever, for pleasure?
I usually go once a month.
Once a month
I
somewhere.
step away from Ripley once a
Yeah,
month
yeah,
at
just-
least. And if I'm not doing that, then I plan my vacations for my summertime.
Exactly.
I can go away and I can know that I can come home
Exactly.
to a safe environment.
Safe environment. I mean,
Yes.
and that's my thing is you know, probably once a month we'll go out to. Well, I'm a big. You know, I don't know how. If you Google it, Tippah County is considered Greater Memphis.
Okay.
But I'm a big grit grind guy. I like that Memphis Grizzly. I like that Memphis. So I lived there for a year, and I love it. I'd rather live in Tippah County, but I can always go.
I can go
and then
there.
you've got all the things, some of the things at Memphis that we don't have here, but we have the airport and all
Yes.
those things. So it's very accessible. But speak to, you know, because one of the things that's been highlighted through these interviews is this feeling of security, of
Yes.
safety. How important has that been for you as a mother, now a grandmother? How
Yes.
important is that for you?
That's very important to me. I like to feel secure and
Sure.
safe. And things can happen anywhere, and
absolutely.
I understand that.
Absolutely.
You watch the news and all the things that are happening, and it could very well happen anywhere.
Absolutely.
But I feel safe here.
Oh, yeah.
I like knowing that I can go outside at night. Me and my
Absolutely.
family sit outside a lot at night. And I feel secure. I'm not worried about anybody walking. And if they do, it's for help. Or
Exactly.
It's,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not for harm.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that I don't think about locking the keys.
No.
My car door.
I
do
don't either.
for safety, but I don't
Yeah.
have to.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
not
it's-
something I can walk outside at 4 a.m. and get something out of my car.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to have
And
my
at the end of
husband
the
walk
day,
out with me.
and at the end of the day, if you make a wrong turn, Ripley, it's okay.
I'm
Somebody
okay.
Somebody
I can
point
pull
you in the
up
right.
to someone's house and they'll tell me where to go.
Somebody will pull you in the right direction. You know,
For
and
sure.
you know, and just I think the interconnectedness for me and that security too. I've said this before, especially for young families with young kids. You know, Miss Teresa Benson does a phenomenal job. At Noah's Ark at the Methodist Church. You know, her and my dad used to go bowling together when they were in
Yes.
high school. I mean, you know, if something
Sense of
happened,
family.
Exactly,
And it takes a village to raise
it
these
does.
kids.
And then I've got Miss Elizabeth up there, Castro. I've got so many people up there that I can't tell you how many times I've seen them out in the community and say, "Oh, I love Little Rivers," or even if something happens, you know. Miss Teresa will just shoot my wife a text,
Yes.
and no big deal, you know.
More personable.
And we take that and that's one of the pieces I think that needs to be communicated often is go live in California for a little bit. You don't know anybody. Nobody knows
And no
you.
one knows you.
Yeah, exactly. And tell
You're
me
lost in translation.
lost in translation, and then go try to work and maybe you're a single parent, or maybe you're a couple and both you have to work, and you go drop your kids off.
No one
at
has to understand your plight.
Exactly.
Yes.
Go drop them off at a daycare, and you don't know a soul, and they don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a reassurance for me knowing that, even with my son at the school. I mean, for goodness sake, his homeroom teacher was Olivia
Yes.
Griffin, who was one of my best
make
friends.
that connection.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just
Someone knows someone that knows someone that knows someone.
and no matter
That's safety to me.
exactly, and nothing. If anything ever happens to them or to me, I know that they'll take care of him.
Yes.
And they, you know, if I'm not there and I can't make it, they'll take care of him. If, you know, vice versa, if something happens to me, somebody will take care of. I mean,
Yes.
it's that's such a piece that I think is often overlooked. But on that strand, you know, what are some? I guess some adjectives you would say that would like if somebody, I like to think about it this way. You run into somebody and from California, you're talking and y'all get to talking and well, where are you from? Well, I'm from Ripley, Mississippi. Like, well, where the heck is that? Well, it's in Northeast Mississippi,
Yes.
don't blink, but it's there. But how would you describe it? Like just, what words would you use to say this is usually true of Tippah Countyans, Tippah County at large?
It's a great small town vibe that we put off.
I like that vibe.
Yeah, I love the small town vibe.
I do too.
I love that I can go to the wellness center.
Oh, yeah.
And people know my grandmother.
Oh,
they
absolutely.
Knew my father.
Absolutely.
They speak of things of old, or they
Exactly.
know my kids, and they ask how they're doing, and you feel loved and you feel wanted here.
Oh, absolutely.
You definitely do.
Oh, that is.
You can go to the grocery store, and I know there's someone in there that I'm gonna know or that's gonna know me.
My wife.
Now I try to hide those snacks because I was
my
speaking
wife,
on health, but then
my,
I have
my
brownies.
wife. I will say my wife. She at this point she's like, hang on, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go in. You stay in here.
You stay in too
because
long.
she's like in and out. And I'm
Yes.
like, my thing is
That's
like,
what my husband says
like
to
I
me.
enjoy going to the grocery store and seeing people. I don't know. I'm an extrovert by nature, and man, nothing brings me more joy than to see someone I haven't seen in 5 or 6 months, and
see,
we
my husband's
connect
from
like
Chicago.
That's right.
And so
is
it's
it a
an
little
all
bit
for him.
It's a little different feel for him.
Definitely different.
And that's
I love to visit Chicago. He loves to visit Chicago.
Sure, absolutely.
But he also likes to come home.
Oh yeah. So I forget because his father is an engineer at Echo Water,
He
correct?
is.
Yes. Okay. But they moved here because his mother was a famous
Singer,
musician.
yes.
A gospel
She sang
singer.
with Ricky Dillard. Yes,
That's
she
right.
traveled all over the world.
I've actually watched her in person. They
Mary
honored
Nance,
her.
she's
They
amazing.
honored her at Second Baptist
They
one year,
should.
and it was. I was just blown away how good of a
Yes.
singer she was. So he's how old was he when he moved to Tippah County? Do you know?
30.
30 years old when he
Yes.
moved from Chicago. And this is, I would love maybe just, what's one thing that he says is good different about Tippah County as compared to big Chicago?
We take for granted these little simple things. The fact that he can go outside.
Oh,
The
yeah.
fact that he knows his neighbors.
Oh, yes.
Our neighbors on both sides of us, he knows them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he lived in Chicago, and he didn't know his neighbors.
100%
at
no,
some
you don't.
point. It's a safety thing.
Yeah, you don't speak unless
We
spoken
feel,
to.
yes, and
Yeah.
we feel safe here.
Oh, absolutely.
We do, and he does as well.
One of the things that, I mean,
It's a
obviously.
great place to grow a ministry as
It
well.
really is, and you think, and oftentimes you think, when I think about when First Monday comes through, you think, oh, this is terrible. Man,
No.
you don't know
Me
traffic.
and my husband were on a cruise about 4 years ago, and we sat across from a couple, and they were from Alabama, deep in Alabama.
Okay.
They asked where we were from, and we said Ripley. They said, "Oh, First Monday." so
So
they
they already-
knew First
well,
Monday.
yeah, so,
We're
yeah,
like, oh, we're more than First Monday, but yeah,
Yeah,
that
we
too.
do. We do have that too. But oftentimes, and even when I lived in Memphis, like which is nothing compared to Chicago, nothing compared to Dallas, and these bigger areas, like I would GPS. I remember when I first went there, I would GPS something because I'm terrible directionally, and it would say, well, it's 15 miles, but I wouldn't check the time. So when I thought 15 miles in Ripley, I thought, well, around 15 minutes, a minute a mile.
No.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it'd be like 15 miles and it'd be like
Yes.
45 minutes. And I had to
Yes.
learn pretty quickly, it doesn't matter if you're going 5 miles up the road, it could take you 30 minutes
That's
to
right.
get there because of the zigging and zagging and the traffic. So, just being able to move and get around and, I mean, like, for instance, this is something, COVID really shined a light on a lot of
yes.
this, because I had friends and Brooklyn's a beautiful place, but they had 2 kids in about a 1,200 square foot apartment in the middle of apartment complex, no windows. They could go to their garbage can one time a day.
Wow.
And obviously, man, I had 2 neighbors that passed, one of which was, I want to say this right, Pastor Hole
Yes.
at St. James, which was a phenomenal man. They've
yes.
renamed that street after him. So COVID was tough in a lot of ways, but when it came to moving around and getting around, me and my son went fishing a lot.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We just
go
spent
outside,
yeah,
enjoy
I mean,
that fresh air.
Oh my goodness! And we're on an acre, but I've got a couple of lakes we could about walk to, and
Yes.
and there's something to be said of that, of not feeling clustered in like
yes.
that, you know.
We were
so.
still free to move around outside.
Oh my goodness!
If nothing else.
Exactly. So, but kind of to shift gears a little bit. We love Tippah County, and obviously you love Tippah County, and you love Tippah County sports and all of that. So, but there's all these traits that we want to keep intact. I mean, this is some of the same things that Tippah County people handed down to you. You're handling down to your kids, now grandkids, and hoping that continues the integrity and hard work and being friendly and hard day's work and all these things that we want to keep and caring for neighbor. But we don't want to fossilize Tippah County. We don't want to say, this is our little place and nobody can come in.
No one can go out.
No one go out, no one come in. Exactly. We don't want nothing new. We're good. So with that being said, we always want to be thinking long term because, I've said this almost in every interview. I remember seeing, I think it was Jill Bennett, really honestly, who put a picture on Facebook, and it was a picture of Ripley in like 1999, and it looked like a ghost town.
Different.
Oh, it looked totally different. I was like, "There's no way there's no way that's." And then I saw some other pictures because somebody had put them on Facebook, and it just showed a lot of Tippah County. I was like, it doesn't look nothing like, and that was like in probably 2016 maybe, and so we're
progressing.
Oh yeah, you're looking at 17 years later, and because it's hard for us to see that often, especially our younger people are like, well, there's nothing to do. Well, in 1999 there wasn't anything. Now there's a lot more now. But so what are some things that I like to think of in this way, if you're to take a picture now of Tippah County, and then you look at it again 15, 20 years from now, what are some things you would like to see? Maybe industry, maybe entertainment, a lot of different things.
I'd love to see more entertainment here. I'd love to get a movie theater.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
A bowling alley. Things that people can enjoy and don't have to go out of town to enjoy. Now, don't get me wrong, I love how Tippah County has grown. I feel like we've grown great. I run now through the square and I think to myself, this is beautiful.
We say that, it's so funny.
Who painted all those walls? That is absolutely gorgeous.
It is gorgeous.
I absolutely love it.
And it's amazing how just a little bit of initiative can change the whole outlook. And I know we've talked about this before, and I don't feel I'm going to stroke anybody's ego, but it really has. I know there's been a lot of pieces to this puzzle for particularly the Main Street and the way it looks now. But I'd be remiss to not say again, I mean, I think Elizabeth has done a great job on that over that Main Street area. I mean, even like this, and I love blues. They brought a Grammy Award winning, and whoever thought to put it, whoever thought to put it right there on that platform, and everybody out there, and
so things are happening that we can come out to and enjoy.
If you would have told me that Ripley would have a concert, a blues concert, when I was 15 years old, I'd say, you're crazy. That'll never happen here. And yet,
and a great diverse turnout.
100%. That's a beautiful picture of Tippah County because we are very diverse in a lot of different ways.
Yes.
And I think that we are really seeking to capture that and to
only get better.
And that's something that it feels very encouraging to me. I see steps moving that way.
Me too.
And I think that people really want that. So with that being said, as we look to kind of wind down on, so the interview will be played on the football during the halftime football game. So it'll be about 12 minutes. So with that being said, we're kind of winding down. But I know that you do a lot of mentorship in general. But this is something that's true of Tippah County people. I've said this before. Tippah County people feel responsible for other Tippah County people.
Definitely.
They just do. And like, for instance, I know I work at Ripley now as a career coach, but I can remember not working at the school, and if a kid made a bad pass or dropped a fly ball or whatever, I just felt responsible to reach out to them and say, oh, hey, this doesn't define you. Because I remember myself, and there's just a sense of togetherness and encouragement. And I know you've given me encouraging words over the years, even when I was in high school and even up into high school, and I've appreciated you. And I know you've done that for a lot of people. So what are some things you would say to young people today on the stream of choosing a career pathway? What are some words of of encouragement, but also what are some words of wisdom that you would say to them?
Okay. Well, I believe success isn't always becoming a doctor or an engineer. You have to know where you're at and what you like.
Exactly.
I have many certifications and it works for me, but
Sure.
I know what I like to do.
Absolutely.
I worry about health and wellness, and working in the healthcare industry for 20 plus years,
Sure.
I see what it takes. And so I would tell anybody, whatever you're passionate about, there's a way to get to it. I remember starting out as a nurse, and I knew that wasn't all that I would be.
Exactly.
I knew I'd be more than that.
Exactly.
But that got my foot in the door.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to go to a 4-year college. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about college.
Sure, yeah, that's great.
If you know what you're going for and you know what you want to do,
Just have a
college
plan.
is required.
Just have a plan. Just have a plan.
And that plan may change
Exactly.
over and over, but have a plan.
Exactly.
You have to work toward it. And it's okay for a vocational program. You can still be successful.
Oh, absolutely.
You can still
Not
be
even
successful.
questionable. And most of the industries in our area will pay for your vocational or whatever. If
well,
you
look
can,
at our county. Ashley keeps us alive.
Exactly.
Our McDonald workers keep us going.
Exactly.
The ones that work at Food Giant, we can't overlook those ones that keep this town alive.
And take passion in what they're doing.
Yes.
I mean, I worked at Ashley this summer, and I worked with so many people.
I'm so happy to hear that you did
that. Man, you know, first of all, obviously I worked with your son. I made about $6,000 this summer. I mean, hey man,
money.
But in the end of it all, I met some of the most intelligent, hardworking, love their craft.
Yes,
you know,
successful.
And I think you said it best. We have to define success tethered to the person. We cannot, like you said, man, and how many times I've seen it, and there's nothing wrong with it. I love when a person becomes an optometrist.
Yes.
Great, awesome. But I'm also just as encouraged and say this is just as much as a success for someone that loves to work with their hands and want to provide for their family and is a great employee and loves their neighbor and shows up 30 minutes early and leaves 30 minutes late, and they want to do it for the next 40 years.
The rest of their life,
you know, and that's something that, you know, but you said a piece too that I think that is one of my gripping, I guess, priorities as a career coach, because I like to, we kind of define as expose, prepare, connect. And me being an extrovert, exposure and connection is not hard. You know, inviting an industry in, taking a student to that industry, you know, connecting. We've got 2 kids over here at the hospital today in radiology. We had 2 kids yesterday with a real estate agent. Like, connecting and exposing is not hard. It's that preparation piece that I like. Because you said it best. If I can help you figure out the way you're wired and help you figure out what you're passionate about, we can find somewhere to make money in that passion. I will search every mound and hill to figure out, okay, you're good at this. That is applicable here, and you can make a good living doing this, and you'll enjoy doing it for the rest of your life. So that, anything else you would like? I mean, because man, I just think about. I think about your kids, and I don't know if I'll be able to say this, I've always loved them. They've always been so friendly and kind and thoughtful and hardworking, always. And even I love seeing, you know, you pouring into your grandkids. What are some things that you've told them or you're telling your grandkids now about the workforce and how to succeed in the workforce?
Well, I want them all to be successful.
Sure.
But like I said before, I want them to define their success.
100%.
You can be successful working wherever you're at. If you're passionate about that, now I'm all about a means to an end.
Sure.
You can work here in order to get to this spot.
100%.
And I'm okay with that, but you also need to be the best that you can be while you're there.
While you're there, absolutely.
And that's what opened doors up for you. I've never worked somewhere where I didn't raise up in the company. I started out on a cart.
Sure.
And I was always diligent. I was there on time. I didn't miss. I remember flipping my car one time when I came to work.
Came on to work,
Supervisor was like, "What are you doing here?"
That's a common thing.
They turned it back over, and I came to work. I need to work. I'm okay with working, and I feel like you guys hired me to do a job.
Exactly.
So I feel like good work ethic. Good work ethic.
Dependability.
No matter what you're doing,
100%.
no matter where you're working, you have to be dependable. You have to have a good work ethic. And I also would tell a child, don't rush it.
Oh, man.
You want to start a job tomorrow and be a millionaire next month.
Exactly.
It doesn't work like that. It's steps. And I can see how they're deceived through social media. Everything's so fast paced. That's not that's not our reality.
One of the best things, the best advice I ever got, just about disciplining yourself and growing yourself. I like to read, and my Uncle Monty Hamilton, who's from here, he's in Atlanta now. he encouraged, I reached out to him one day. I was like, man, what do I need to start reading? Very successful man, very driven man. And he said, read biographies. And I thought, well, and he said, just start reading them.
Yes.
And after about the second or third biography, I was like, I know why you said that. It puts steel in my spine. Because you think, once again, there's this TikTok view or Instagram view of fast-paced success. Yes. But then, when you're over here reading a book about Phil Knight and Nike and all of the ups and downs and homelessness and everything else. I mean, and the list goes on and on. You see that, man, it takes grit. Yes. It takes determination. Nothing's given easy.
No, and our children need to know in order to succeed, you're going to fail a lot.
A bunch.
And that's okay.
Exactly.
But if I come back in a month and you're still laying there, we have a problem.
We have a problem.
You fall down, but you got to get back up.
Got to get back up.
That's
such, and and the reason I say it, I've heard you say these things
over
at ball games. I've heard you say
like
this.
A broken record.
No, it was always, but you've always been so encouraging. On that note,
Thank you,
with that being said, I do want to say one more thing, or ask you one more question as pertaining to this. There is that young person out there. I just know there is that thought the grass was greener on the other side, and hey, no problem with moving off, but doesn't feel at home, but feels like coming back to Tippah County would be a sense of failure. It'd be a sense of I let everybody down, or I should. What would you say to that if a young person called you today, say 25, 26, hey, I've been in Atlanta, I enjoy it, but I would rather be back to Tippah County, but I don't know if I can make a living in Tippah County. What would you say to them?
It's possible.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely possible. You come home, and I've never heard of anyone to come home and be rejected.
No.
You've always been welcome here in Tippah County.
100%.
And we're growing.
100%.
We're growing at a steady pace, but we are growing. And
exactly.
yes, everybody has a place here.
Exactly.
Everybody does.
Exactly.
You have to have that positive mindset and a good work ethic. Come in here and make something happen.
Exactly.
It's possible.
Exactly.
It is possible.
Man, I'm gonna need you to.
I'll pump
I'm
you up
I'm gonna need you to do some audio stuff so I can
motivational.
Like let my son listen to.
I'm country.
No, you're not. No, you are not.
Voice.
But no, I mean it's just like the way some of the things you've said to me before when I've talked to you.
Because I've lived it.
And I can feel it. I can see in your eyes. And I'm like, she feels what she's saying. She has lived this, and you've always been such an encouragement to me. And these are the kind of people. And I'm telling you, I don't feel obvious stroke. Anybody's ego. If I didn't care much for you, I just wouldn't say nothing because I don't want to. I don't have time for all that. But these are the kind of people like Miss Leslie that make Tippah County move.
Thank you.
And really, it puts steel in the spine of young people in our community, and you're one of many that feels responsible and feels accountable and feels that they should step in and encourage this young person or person that's messed up or needs a little help. So I've always appreciated that about you. So thank you so much for tuning in with us.
Thank you.
Once again, hey, we love all of Tippah County sports.
For sure.
But go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Go Anita Hood. We love you.
I don't know, I have fallen ego now.
Oh, you're not. Hey, love all Tippah County.
My granddaughter, she's going to cheer at those Faulkner games now. I have to say something about that.
That is awesome.
She might not like that.
Uh-oh.
She's a Faulkner.
But anyway.
I want it as well.
Hey, thank you for tuning in. If you would like to, I'm going to ask Miss Leslie one more question. If you'd like to continue watching, you could go to YouTube and continue at 1023 Shark. We are so thankful for 1023 Shark and what they're providing in this and what they provide for our community. So thank you guys for doing this to make Tippah County a better place.
Awesome.
So with that being said, I want to ask this question because I know you, and with oftentimes we get just so complacent. We get I get disgruntled. Who doesn't get disgruntled? And you all. I mean, we've said it before in this interview. We think the grass is greener on the other side. But once again, I think Nicole Bullock is so right on this. I heard her say this in a meeting one time. And once again, she probably didn't come up with it, but when she quoted, I thought that's great. And it was in a room full of kids. She said, "The grass grows the best where you water it." So, kind of a two-part or two subset question to this. One, Now, all of your kids live here.
They do.
So how have you encouraged your kids? Not that you're trying to keep them. If you feel led to move and you've got a plan and you want to do that, knock it out.
I'll support you.
Exactly. But what have some things you've encouraged them to say, well, now consider Tippah County. Now think about how you've lived since you've been here. Think about the people here. Think about how accessible, like we've already talked about Memphis and Huntsville, and even remote work.
Yes.
There's that option. So what are some things you've said to your kids? Hey, maybe you should think about staying here, and maybe share that with young people today.
Well, basically the same thing that I think with myself. We have a strong family base here, so you're always going to be supported.
Exactly.
And they definitely need support. I remember from my 20s to my 30s, I'm trying to figure life out.
Still.
And I definitely needed support,
Absolutely.
and they'll need support, which is so easy to support them anywhere these days through FaceTime and the internet. But physical support, and to have someone there for you, and not just your family, but your town family, people who know you, have watched you grow up.
Oh, absolutely.
Also the safety. My kids they travel, they go and enjoy their life, but they like to come back home, especially that they have kids. They love that.
Absolutely.
Safety for their children. My son Jamal just bought a house, and he's here in Tippah County, so he's set base here.
You know how it is. Hang on a second. You know how it is in Tippah County.
Yes.
When you say Jamal, I'm like, who? Putt.
Yeah.
No one goes by their name.
Not want you to say
I know that. But
I wasn't gonna say
I know, but
Austin said it.
I said it. That's all I've ever. I only know people. No one's called me Austin. That's 30 or under. No one's called me Austin 30 or under in the last 10 years. Everybody calls me Hamilton or something. But that, just everyone's got a nickname. I remember I worked with a guy from California, really, and he was here, and he said, "Do all y'all have nicknames here?" Because he was like, "There's pig, and then there's onion, and then and he was like,
we do that.
Yeah, that's just something we do. So,
but for Jamal to set his roots down here, that makes me happy.
And I've been,
Jamal's not originally from here. He's from Chicago.
I knew he's from Chicago,
and that he set his roots here. That makes me happy.
And honestly, I saw a picture just recently of him doing a presentation at a school about oil dry, correct?
Yes.
And man,
doing an amazing job.
And last time I talked to him, man,
I'm so proud of him.
Man, he just like I felt like I was talking to an executive. That's what it felt like.
Yes.
I was like, man, this is,
and that's successful.
That is successful, man. Got
a wife,
beautiful kids, just got remodeling a house.
Yes.
And it's she's got her own little TikTok. Yes. I've seen some of that. It's just when I see them, I think, this is awesome.
Yes.
I'm so proud for him. I'm so proud for Jamal. But man, because he's always been like, I knew him in high school when he moved, but then he moved.
Basketball.
Where did he move to? Because he stayed he was in Ripley, then he moved somewhere.
He moved away to school and came back.
That's what he did. Yeah,
to trade school and came back.
That's what it was.
Sure
but when man, and he's always been so kind to me. I've always loved his personality. But to see other people recognizing and seeing some of the same things I saw in him, it's just been really cool. But with that being said, number two, kind of this, because you're a very positive thinker. You were. Everybody has bad days, but you want to see the good side of things.
Sure.
And who doesn't? So with that being said, what are some things on the note of appreciating what you do have? Because it's hard for us to think that way sometimes, especially with social media, and you see someone, jumping in the beach in Dubai, or surfing in California, or the list goes on and on, up in Brooklyn eating pizza. So what are some ways that you've said on that note, the grass is greener where you water it? What have you encouraged your kids? How have you encouraged your kids to make the most out of their life, but particularly the most out of their life while they're in Tippah County?
I think we just like the simple life.
Yes.
That's success to me.
Exactly.
Us being able to get together.
Exactly.
Us being able to come together as a family, have a meal, have a discussion.
100%.
Fix situations.
Exactly.
It's the strong family base. I always encourage them to stay in touch, and we do that.
Absolutely.
We are close family, and we stay in touch.
Exactly.
And I always encourage them to be positive. I always encourage them to see the best in things.
Oh, absolutely.
Things aren't always going to be good.
No.
But we take the high road. We try to see things in the best light.
Exactly.
And be positive. Stay positive.
And this is something that I've noticed about you on the relational piece. You make a lot of connections
I do.
Across Tippah County,
and I don't mean to do that.
Yeah, but you
It
do.
just
I mean, but I
happens.
know but you know that oftentimes,
It happens.
you know, you are very family oriented. I love seeing your videos with your grandkids. You work. Those are things that they'll never forget.
No.
They'll never forget as long as they live. But it's always been so encouraging to me to see going to the gym and seeing you working out with 5 different women, or just other people, and you know, and that's the piece of it that I wish more people in Tippah County would, because oftentimes, although we do want to be family focused and family centered, but I have my blood family. But I got my brothers and my sisters all over Tippah County.
I have my work family. I have my church family. I have my gym family.
You know, because oftentimes I've noticed when people live here, or say a young person moves off and then comes back when they're 28 and 29, because now they're more established, so they, you know, they can work in Tupelo or Memphis or somewhere else, but they need help with their kids, which is all great things. It's like sometimes I've talked to them and they're like, you know, it's just so small here. I'm like, well, you only spend time with your blood family.
You have to make connections.
Make connections across the board.
It's okay to speak.
Yeah, exactly. and hey, here it is. Like, if you can, I mean, I'll just tell you, if you can't make relationships in Tippah County, I don't know if you make them, because I mean, you just start showing up at things.
Possible.
Exactly. So that's a word that I would encourage, especially people moving back. Don't just move back for your family and need help with your kids and all, but move back.
Make yourself accessible.
Exactly.
As well.
And don't just move back.
Because you bring something to the table. We'd love to know what it is.
Exactly. So with all that being said, man, thank you so much, Ms. Leslie.
Austin.
It has been, thank you, Diversicare, for providing such great care for elderly people. I just told Miss Marcellus, my grandmother was up here for years. And
it's a wonderful facility.
It is a wonderful facility. And even me and Miss Marcellus talked about the renovations that are taking place.
We also offer a vocational service.
I knew that, the CNA program.
Become a CNA here. Yes.
I know, and I've got so So I've got a girl right now, and she turns 18. She's going to come. I'm sending her away. I'm going to say, you look for the lady that's super positive, has a big smile.
Okay.
And I said, you'll be on. So anyway, hey, thank y'all so much, and we are so thankful for you guys and everything that's going on in Tippah County. Let's keep pushing forward.
Thank you, Austin.
All right.
Did you know that every week radio reaches 90% of all people with disposable income? That's more than any other media. The fact is, radio is the #1 most effective and cost-effective ways to reach current and potential customers. If you have a business, service, or event you want to let folks know about, put it on the radio. If you want to tell our dedicated Shark listeners about your business or event, click advertise at shark102.3.com and put it on the radio.